about him or don't, that might be a psychologist or whatever the case may be, a criminal justice person or whatever, a lawyer, DA, whatever the case may be, they might say, oh, yeah, he's a man of God, but there are men of God that are doing things to people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Their kids and all. So I'm just saying, like, I'm not taking nothing away from him, but he needed to apologize. He needed to acknowledge what he did. He needed to acknowledge it, and he needed to apologize. Yeah, I don't care how mad his son made him. He needed to do that because his bad. You know what I'm saying? His son recorded him, and he recorded him saying some things that he actually said. You know what I'm saying? So he has to make things straight on that end. I'm glad I'm glad that he actually, said, that I'm apologizing for saying that, but I'm not apologizing for parents for being a loving parent and checking my child in so many words. But it was the way he did it.
Right. So that's where I was at from my perspective. So I do see what you're saying. I agree looking at it from that point of view. But when I was saying that, you didn't have to say anything, I'm looking at it from that parent point of view, especially in the black culture. We're going, that's how I was raised. We're going in this house, and I'm not saying it was cool. I'm just saying. We're going in this house, stay in this house, I was taught that. So from that perspective, that's where I was coming from, that he didn't have to say anything. But from the other side, from the criminal justice point of view, you are correct. He did have to say something. Kind of like what we said earlier about how back in the day, we had prayer and we had spankings in school. And then when people started advocating and saying that ain't cool, and then the law got involved, now we're where we at. So the law is also involved in this right here, like Ms. Vicky is saying. So I do see that point.
I mean, I think that they're protected. I really think they're protected in regards to, because they've been going to therapy and all that. But but he still needs to, he needed to do that. I mean, people needed to hear it too. The church, the Christian community needed to hear it. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of fans. So he have a lot of support in this, but he also he kind of, because he was like, it didn't even sound like it was him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know that was him, but it didn't sound like him. Because, no, I'm saying he was very angry. It was like he was it was like somebody else. You know what I'm saying? So, I say, this is one thing I want to say, and then I guess I'll be done. I think that we should all use this as a teachable moment. I don't care if you're black or you're of another ethnicity, because I can only speak from my culture because I'm black. Exactly. I'm African American.
Exactly. Yes.
But there's other nationalities that have those type of situations too, but I can't say come from their perspective, their position. But I'm saying we need to use this as a teachable moment, that we need to be more careful at what we say to our children. I don't care what age they are. Don't allow people to make you so angry that you're going to say things that you may regret later. Like, you know how when you say, I hate, remember we used to be like, I hate you, you this and that. And words are very powerful. You know what I'm saying? And that we need to make sure that we take care of ourselves ahead of time, that we work on that we make that a practice, that we take care of our mental health so that don't nobody catch us out of pocket like that. Like, they can catch us out of pocket a little bit, because things happen, but not to the point where it's like on a whole nother level. Because even if it didn't affect him with the law, but it's like, okay, now other people are kind of looking like, dang, you know what I'm saying? And then you don't want people to give people a pass to think it's okay to talk to folk any kind of way, just because they're not going along with what you're saying, or just because of whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, me ain't giving people, because we got people out there that's how they live and stomp these grounds all day long, every day. And they do need examples. You know what I'm saying? So they need to see how they need to change. Like, now they might be like, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, like, I think we should use this as a teachable moment, because if we don't want things to go, if we want things to go a certain way, then it's like a personal thing. Each person needs to look at themselves personally and then start from there. Like, I'm not even judging him at all, because I know a lot of us have been caught out of pocket and just got, by the grace of God, we didn't get caught. He got caught. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's
Right.
all I'm saying. You know I done probably said some stuff to my kids. You know what I mean? But we need to think about that. And then the other thing is, even though his child is grown, you know, how did it affect him? And then the other part is, okay, you know, maybe this is going to make him think too, or maybe I need to go work on myself in some areas, because why did I come out like that? Now he listening to it, like, dang, I sounded like that. Like, you know, what was going on with me that I had went that far into rage, that I even allowed him that space to take me there. Because that was a high level. It was like he was screaming. Now, if that's his regular thing, now I don't know, because I ain't in his life to know all that. But I'm just saying, you know? So I'm done.
It goes back to, like I said, I can only speak on my culture because I'm African American, just like Miss Vicky. You know, when I was growing up, you know, going back to what I said earlier, being seen and not heard, spoken to, speak when you're spoken to, and whatever go on in this house, stay in this house. You don't go out there telling people, you're telling our business or saying anything about what's going on in this house. So in this situation, it's all out in the open air, okay? So I do agree with Miss Vicky. You know, this is a teaching moment for everybody. It makes it kind of more difficult for him,
especially when you put yourself in a position where we want to be leaders. You know what I'm saying? If you're not a leader, you know what I'm saying, then you got a little bit more of a pass than a person that's a leader. You know? So it's kind of like, you know, that whole thing. You know, I don't care if you're a leader of a company. You know what I'm saying? We ain't even talking about a man of God. Any kind of leader. You know, we just had a president that was a leader that was, oh my God, we was just so embarrassed. Mad and embarrassed. You know, so I'm just saying, like, we have to take that part into consideration in being in those positions, that we have to do a little bit more work than the average person. You know?
And then, yes, well, I agree. And as I was, you know, I'm trying to remember what I was going to say. Then I'm going to go back to women and disabilities, and then we're going to wrap it up. Anger. So we gave you the bulk of the controversy. But anger will mess you up. And I can speak on anger, me personally. You know, some things I went through as a child. I'm getting through that, dealing with that, and putting forth the effort to let things go and get through that. But when you don't let it go and you just fester with it, anger can mess you up. So I'm bringing it up to say this. I hope that through this experience that it causes Kirk Franklin, his son, or the whole family because I know they're in counseling, but I'm trying to say to work on your anger. Because apparently, obviously, Kirk Franklin was super, super angry, and I don't feel like it was just that incident. He got some, you know, I'm not no doctor or whatever, but I'm just feeling like there's some underlying.
I think that it probably was just, it was definitely, I don't think it was underlying issues. I think it was definitely directed toward his son, because they've been going through this for years, and he was very frustrated. So I'm just saying that even in that part, you know what I mean? It could, because you know you have your own regular issues of life. You have your own regular issues of life, and that's extra.
Right, I understand. Yes, because we don't know if he has a mental disability or not, but if he does, that's an added component, because I've already spoken on that. When you are dealing with people with disability, that's a whole nother dynamic, especially a mental disability. So I'm saying, so forgive me, maybe I shouldn't say he has a right. I'm trying to focus on the fact that he was that angry, because I've been there, done that. It's like you really have to find a way to channel your anger, because if you don't learn how to channel your anger, then things like what happened will happen. And anger will get you so angry that you lose sight of what the heck is going on, and you just lose all control. That's what I'm talking about. Been there, done that, and I'm continuing.
Well, I know
on...
the mom was interviewed, and she was saying how they were both young parents, and they weren't the perfect parents. But who got a book on perfect parents? You know what I'm saying? So they actually both acknowledged the mistakes that they made, that there were some mistakes made. They acknowledged that there were some mistakes made in their parenting with that child. But they've been working on them. They've been working on them in therapy over the years. And also outside of the school.
So it goes back to what we say, parenting does not come with a parent book. Handbook. It is not easy to be a parent, and you literally are doing it 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 day at a time, and you learn as you go. And there will be some mistakes as you go through. So as Vicky is saying, that they acknowledge some mistakes were made, and they're continuing to work through them as we speak today. So I just wanted to touch on, before we close, and out. Keep for those, or I shouldn't say for those, but people that, how can I say this? Just keep Kirk Franklin and his family in prayer, and his son as well, and that they all get through this and come out more healthier. Okay. So time is going, and I wanted to touch on women with that made an impact with disabilities. So I'm just going to speak on one that we know very well, and I did not know until I was doing my research that she had a disability. So Dr. Maya Angelou. Oh, side note. Because Vicky and I do discuss domestic violence, so I just wanted to bring up that anger issue as well. You got to be careful with that anger issue because it causes you to go into some people to harm of people through domestic violence. We'll talk about that in another show. I just want to put that out there. Dr. Maya Angelou. We all know her story. She was a famous poet. She was also abused, sexually assaulted by by his boyfriend. So I already knew that story, read the book and everything else. So as I was doing research, and she was one of the people on here for women that made an impact with disabilities, I was like, what? So, due to the trauma that she went through with her, being sexually assaulted by her mother's boyfriend, it is said that the trauma of being raped and thinking she caused her abuser's death after she spoke up caused her to develop selective mutism, which is known as MUTISM, which is known as an anxiety disorder that causes a child to barely speak in certain situations. For Angelou, this meant being completely silent for 5 years. So if you don't know what story,
Lord, you got 90 seconds.
All righty, Ben. So if you don't know a story, research and get her book and read her story. And, oh, man, we done went a little longer. Oh, well, it's all good. Let's go back to Bake Peace and have our DJ moment, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Peace. We out. Here we go.
Peace, everybody. Have a wonderful week, you guys. Wear your mind. Here we go.
It was war about a week ago. They shot my man, I was with him about a week ago. In my city, round the city, we should stop that. Keep losing, trying to win with the get back. Don't you see where that gets us? Who's cooler? There's a body, there's a shooter. There's a man without a future, now his homies out to get ya. And the cycle just continues if we only just remember that we stronger together. We was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Yeah, we stronger together. We was made here to give, we was made here to love, we was made here to live. Now get your money, get success, and live a good life. Need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Get your money, get success, and live a good life. You need to put the guns down and get your mind right. Now won't you make